Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Time is 10 a.m., which is abnormal for us. We usually start at 9 a.m. So I want to thank everybody for your patience. The Kansas Association of Counties is hosting their annual conference, or 50th annual conference in Wichita. And we've been over at that this morning. Commissioner Howell is our delegate, and we'll give an update later on today. But so we had to push the start to 10 a.m. So we appreciate the patience and the grace to be able to do that so that we can attend that. We want to welcome you, though, those that are joining us online, those joining us on Facebook and YouTube, and all of you wonderful people joining us here in person. We're delighted that you're here today. When you walked in, we always encourage you to grab a meeting agenda packet that allows you to follow along with everything that we're working on and every line item here at the county. If you're ever interested in any of the supporting documents, things that the commission has at their discretion and at their disposal to analyze the topics that we're discussing today, you can always access every last document at sedgwickcounty.org. I encourage you to do that. As we're looking at the meeting schedule today, a lot of wonderful things we'll be talking about. I'm going to make one adjustment, unless there's an objection here from the commissioners. I'll make one adjustment on the schedule. Is after county announcements, I'm going to ask that line A, retirement, gets moved up to follow county announcements. We have retirement that we want to talk about today, and I think it'd be really good to have everybody here to celebrate this retirement. So we're going to do that. That should not take long at all. So we'll make that adjustment right after county announcements. Any objection to that? Okay, that'll be great. Okay, and that'll be the only adjustment. So let's get to work. I'll call the meeting to order for Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. Madam Clerk, first item, please.
Invocation to be observed by a moment of silence. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Madam Clerk, next item.
Roll call. Commissioner Blueball.
Present.
Commissioner Wise.
Present.
Commissioner Howell.
Present.
Commissioner Meisner. Present. Chairman Beatty.
Present. Next item, please.
County announcements.
Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Nicole Gibbs of Strategic Communications. We're going to start off today with the Election Commissioner, Laura Rainwater. She's here to talk about the 2026 I Voted Sticker Contest.
And the aforementioned Laura Rainwater. Welcome.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you this morning to announce the kickoff of the 2026 I Voted Sticker Contest and also announce a new contest for children's in grades K through 5. As you know, in 2024, we held our first I Voted Sticker Contest in Sedgwick County and the state of Kansas for students in grades 6 through 12. 127 students submitted entries that year. Last year, we had over 225 entries. The purpose of this contest is to educate and engage our youth on the importance of voting. Young people who learn about voting procedures are prepared for voting in the future, as they are more likely to participate in other civic activities as well. This contest has provided me numerous opportunities to engage with kids in our community, teaching them about voting processes and how to register to vote. For 2026, we will continue this exciting I Voted sticker contest for students in grades 6 through 12. But we are also creating a new contest for students in grades K through 5. We are asking our younger kiddos to design a future voter sticker that will be given to kids who accompany their parents, grandparents, caregivers, or others to the polls. These two contests are open only to students who reside in Sedgwick County. Students must submit their original artwork on the template provided on our website. Artwork must be original, contain no copyright images or trademarks, and must not infringe upon the rights of privacy, publicity, or other rights of any person. It must be nonpartisan, non-political, and not advocate for a party, candidate, or issue. It must not include anything obscene or inappropriate for the general audiences. The design must include the phrase, "I voted in Sedgwick County," and contain the theme of voting and elections in the state of Kansas, Sedgwick County, or the United States. Next year is the semi-quincentennial of the United States, marking 250 years since the Declaration of Independence. So maybe some of the young artists will showcase this big anniversary year. There are 3 ways to submit an entry. They can mail or drop off in person to our office at the historic courthouse, or they can email it to us at voterinformation@sedgwick.gov. The artwork will then be judged by a nonpartisan panel of experts in art and design industry, and the winners will be announced at a commission meeting in April. The first place winning design in each contest will be used during the 2026 primary and general elections. Again, thank you for letting me be here to kick this fun contest off.
Laura, it's great. Any questions from the commission? Commissioner Meister?
Yeah, Laura, thanks. I think that's a wonderful thing that and I think other elections around the state are starting to.
They have. A lot of other counties are now doing this as well. It's just a great way to get our students and kids involved in the election process.
I wonder if next year, could you add another category and have seniors enter?
Sure.
So seniors can, okay, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Laura, it really is a great idea. The last
It's
2
fun.
years in April, one of my favorite commission meetings is when we have these students come and they
their
declare the
parents.
winner, and their parents are here and their teachers. I'm curious, how are you engaging the local schools so they're aware of what's happening so they can engage their students within the school to participate?
Well, we've sent packets to all public and private schools. Those went out yesterday. And then I go to schools. We register kids to vote. We go to high schools, do presentations at various high schools, Capon, Goddard, Mulvane, others.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Laura, I'll just speak for myself. I'm so thrilled of some of the things, since you've been in the seat as election commissioner, some of the things that are happening, the expansion of polling sites, what you've done with staff. I just absolutely thrilled.
There's more, and it's going to be a big election year next year.
I know.
So
Yeah, I know it. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for all the work you do.
Thank
We're
you.
happy to celebrate and promote this.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Sedgwick County Public Works will host an annual stormwater meeting on Friday, December 12th. That's going to be at 9 a.m. in the basement training room of the Sedgwick County Public Works building, and that is on South Seneca. Topics that will be covered will be stormwater program activities and an opportunity for public comments. And that is all I have for today. I'll stand for any questions.
Okay, any questions, commissioners? Nicole, wonderful job. Thank you. Appreciate
you.
it. Okay, Madam Clerk, as we said earlier, we're going to move to item A.
Retirements.
Yeah, retirements.
Item A, recognition of Sedgwick County retirements.
Okay, Sheena, welcome.
Good morning. Today we are celebrating some meaningful news that our Deputy County Manager, Mr. Tim Kaufman, will be retiring on December 12th after 25 years of service to Sedgwick County. His dedication has shaped this organization in ways that will be felt for years to come. After a remarkable career defined by integrity, commitment, and genuine care for people around him, we want to honor you today, Tim, with this milestone. Tim has served while at Sedgwick County as the Director of Operations for ComCare, Director of Administrative Services for ComCare, Deputy Human Services Director, Director of Human Services, the Assistant County Manager for Public Services, and finally as the Deputy County Manager. Tim has also taken on roles as Acting Zoo Executive Director and Acting HR Director. This is in addition to his many years of service with the state of Kansas. Congratulations, Tim, on a well-deserved retirement, but even more on a successful and impactful career.
Mr. Kaufman, sir.
Thank you, Sheena, for those kind words. Commissioners, thank you for this opportunity. I've had an opportunity to do an awful lot of great things here at this organization because it's full of great people. I've worked for 22 different commissioners, 3 different county managers, 4 different supervisors here at the organization, with hundreds, thousands of coworkers, and I've been given the opportunity to represent them and all the good work that they do at this podium a number of different times. We've been through lots of different changes in the community. We've served a lot of people in this community, and I really do appreciate the workforce here, the work that you do, commissioners, all of my peers here at Sedgwick County. It's a great place to work, and so if anybody in the audience is looking for a place to work, But again, thank you for the opportunities that I've been given. I've been blessed to have the opportunity to work in public service for over 40 years, and it's been a pleasure. So
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Tim, hang tight. Commissioners, thoughts or questions or comments? Yep, go ahead.
Tim, congratulations. A well-deserved retirement. Your footprint is in many departments, and it's been a joy for me to work close with you these last handful of years and get to know you better. And your calmness, and I don't know that you don't have any heart problems because you're always really calm. So anyway, I want to wish you the best. I didn't know you worked for 22 different commissioners. Wow. Did you say which one was your favorite?
Of course. Don't tell the others.
Congratulations. My sincere congratulations and best wishes.
Yeah, very good. Commissioners? Commissioner Howe?
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to say you'll be missed. You know, you're going to leave a legacy behind you, and your service here is notable, and it's extraordinary. And so, we've had so many topics. I can't even begin to think of all the things we've talked about over the years, but you've always been extremely professional. And that is an extraordinary character trait. So you're just a really great person. The county's been so lucky to have you for all these years. Thank you for sharing your life with us. This county needed you, and you've had a stellar career. And we just want to say thank you for what you've given to the people of Sedgwick County.
Yeah. Yeah, Tim, when we start thinking about legacy, when you retire, I don't think the community is aware of the legacy that you've left us. You started with the old SRS, which is now DCF, and your Heart for Children and for vulnerable families. You certainly had an impact there. But what is happening in this community over the last 10 years, but right now, these things would not be happening if you weren't in the seat you were in. And I don't think the community is aware fully. That $100 million mental health hospital that's going on down south, 104 beds that we desperately need, it doesn't happen without a Tim Kaufman. It doesn't. What's happening at ComCare, the move to a CCBHC, and now the move to a new ComCare Crisis Center, and the expansion of this model and what it's going to be doing. We have a lot of great people that have touched this project. No one's had as much influence as you. The community needs to know that. What we're doing in aging and intellectual and developmental disabilities and all of these things with new potential models, the START model and all these things, those things don't happen in this community without your hand and your influence and your touch. So the community, your legacy is going to be felt by a community that has no idea that you were the one pushing the needle on all of these things. But I want you to know that we know that. And the people that you work alongside know that very well. You are not replaceable. Your fingerprint is all over this community in a lot of wonderful ways. And I just want you to know that the people that have worked alongside you and the people you've worked for, the 22 commissioners, but particularly these 5 commissioners and this county manager and the staff, they know very well all that you've done. So you can retire. You have permission to retire, sir. But you can retire with a lot of peace in your heart and your spirit, because what you did here really, really mattered. So that's quite a legacy, sir. So on behalf of Sedgwick County and the 525,000 people that live here, thank you.
Thank you.
So with that, I'll make a motion, begrudgingly, but also happily for you, Tim, to receive and file.
Second.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Blueball?
Aye.
Commissioner Wise?
Aye.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Commissioner Meitzner?
Aye.
Chairman Beatty?
Aye. Okay, back up one slot. Next item, please.
Public agenda.
Okay, we have several people sign up for public agenda here at the county. Once I call your name, you just come down here to the podium. Our friendly county clerk will give you 5 minutes. She'll give you a quick little warning, I think when we got 30 seconds to go, and then the little beeper will go off when time's up. When you come to the podium, if you can give your name and address to the record, that will be helpful for the minutes. So first up, Mr. George Palmer. Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is George Palmer. My address is 7101 South 103rd Street West. I'm here today representing the concerned citizens of Sedgwick County against industrial solar, wind, and battery installations. The location in particular that we're talking about is basically between 47th Street South and 63rd Street South, and between Ridge Road and 119th. The company that is applying for a permit for this is Mission Clean Energy, and their project consumes almost 1,500 acres. So my purpose today was just to inform the council of, the people that are against it, and hopefully we'll get a favorable viewing there, and just to pass along some information. So this Clean Mission Energy is 51% owned by WICHITA, which is a public investment for Social Security of Kuwait. It also has a couple other minority interests, and one of them is a government owned by Denmark company. So my point being there that this type of industry that is popping up seems like everywhere is heavily tax subsidized with our money, and then it's going to go to foreign countries. So we have a concern about their actual investment in the community, and later on down the years if they have a cleanup and things like that necessary. And some of these things are not so much information, but questions to the panel and everyone here is: do the counties, the cities, the public school system actually receive the monies that are promised up front? Is that something we're looking into? We're discussing with other people that have already had these projects going on, what the percentage is of the money they actually receive. Usage. Where is this electricity going? Do we need it? Is Kansas currently exporting electricity? Will this lower our cost of electricity? Environmental concerns. Of course, we're concerned about soil and groundwater contamination, especially concerning the battery installation. And we're concerned with the disposal of damaged panels or panels that come out of service or at the end of life, where they're going to store them, how they're going to store them. Some other questions, that we ask ourselves is will this project be safe? To my knowledge, this company has never performed a project of this size, so we have questions about their experience. Will this project increase the value of our community? Will this project drive up prices for those seeking affordable housing? And just to kind of wrap it up here, we are a group that believes in free market enterprise and private ownership when done responsibly. So we're just asking the commissioners to carefully consider both sides, and hopefully you'll see our side. And as we get more information, we're going to pass it along to you. And I thank you for your time today.
Yeah. Mr. Palmer, thank you, sir. Very much appreciate that.
Any questions for me?
Questions or comments from the commission? Commissioner Howe?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to let you and others know that have concerns that this hasn't been, I'll just say there will be a formal hearing at some point in our future. Okay. And at that hearing is when we need to hear the arguments for or against the project. And at that time is when we have the legal right to formulate an opinion regarding the project. And so until then, we're just listening. Okay. It doesn't mean that we don't care. I think you've asked some really great questions, and I hope we hear more information about those questions, but I'm doing my very best to officially be neutral, because that's our requirement for us to listen, right, and to not make a decision until that day of that public hearing. And that's when we finally make a decision about the project. And so, not that we don't care, I want you to know I'm doing my best to listen and not to provide any type of response, because we're kind of required not to do that. So not that we don't care, we do. I think we care deeply. We just can't respond with any type of opinion at this point in the process. Thank you. Yeah.
Commissioner Howe beat me to that. I know a lot of us, I think, speak for myself, is receiving a lot of emails and correspondence. One of the things that you mentioned that I think I want to make sure the public's very aware of is Sedgwick County has established policy around wind already previous of my time. Our county councilor, could you maybe explain what the policy is in Sedgwick County around wind?
If you're talking specifically about wind energy, that wind projects are not allowed in Sedgwick County pursuant to a zoning code change that went into place. I believe it was in, I'm trying to remember, I think it was 2019, if I remember correctly, Chairman. And there's Supreme Court of both U.S. and Kansas that indicates that that's a permissible action, and the county commission did take that action. And solar is subject to a zoning application, a conditional use process, and all that. There is still an opportunity for that, and we of course amended those regulations in 2023. The county commissioners voted on that, or actually I think it was 2024 if I remember correctly, Chairman. So I hope that helps a little bit. But
We're getting a lot of correspondence on the questions about wind.
But I did want to, I guess, supplement what I said there, and kind of what Commissioner Howe was getting to is, at the point in time that any application comes in and is ready to be heard, it will have a formal hearing required by state law at the Planning Commission. If it proceeds from there, then it would likely have a formal hearing in front of the Board of County Commissioners as well. So there will be opportunities in the future for the County Commission to potentially weigh in at that time.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Mr. Palmer, thank you. Appreciate you being
thank you.
here. Yeah. Okay, next up, Jennifer Connolly. Good morning, Jennifer. Welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good.
I'm Jennifer Connolly. I live at 3353 North 159th Street East. I am hoping that I can answer some of your questions. This particular company, Mission, has 11 gigawatts of energy out there already. So it is a international company. The good news about it is when you build a gas plant, which two have been approved in this area, because of the way the new laws are set up, we start paying that for that gas plant from day one. As soon as they break ground, we start paying for it. Now, Mission Clean Energy, you will not pay a single dime. They'll probably sell this energy to Evergy if I had to guess. That's a pretty high possibility. You will not have to pay a single dime until that gas plant is built and that it's passed on to the consumer. Now, the other thing that's really, really important to know, we worked really hard in Topeka to have a tariff, and that's passed through the KCC. If you don't know what that is, that's the Kansas Corporation Commission. We worked several data centers are being built all over the United States. It's going to affect your electricity no matter what. And it'll affect your electricity a lot more if they build one here and then they take that electricity and they have it just for the data center. We will still pay for that gas plant to go in. So this is a good opportunity for us to have inexpensive energy that will go right to us as consumers. Now, that's going to be built right by a substation, and that substation is going to help us out a lot because it doesn't have to have transmission lines going in and out, and they'll be paying all the upfront cost. There also, people have been wondering about the impact of, say, you have somebody's growing soybeans or corn. Those farmers aren't getting paid squat nowadays. It's just really a sad pay for them. They're going to get paid for these solar panels, and I don't know who's corporate or not, but the reality is soy and corn production takes a lot of water, and these solar panels are going to be they're going to need cleaned a couple of times a year. Granted, the batteries will have to have some water application for them. So I hope this answers some of your questions. And, don't forget, I forgot to say one thing. The NRC, which is don't be mistaken for, what is it? It's the National Conservation Reserve, not the nuclear. So it's different. And they will be in on this project to help them put in pollinator gardens, which we desperately need those bees and butterflies. Oh, do I have room for one joke?
Yes, ma'am. Well,
Okay.
we could probably use a joke.
So the solar panel walks into the bar, and he says to the bartender, "I don't know why. I can't get a date." and the bartender says, "I don't know. I think you have a dark cloud hanging over your head."
Goodness, yes. Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it. Madam Clerk, make sure that's in the minutes, please. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, very good. Okay, next up, Mr. Kent Rowe. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Hello, Commissioners. I'm Kent Rowe, 3353 North 159th Street East. And I send you greetings from the Osage Nation, who, Wajaji, which also has their own energy plans. The tribal nations have indeed adopted a more progressive and way of architecting clean energy. When we spoke last, I don't know if we mentioned it before, but we now have 10% more water vapor in the atmosphere due to fossil fuel burning. The way in which we have conducted ourselves at fossil fuels at any cost has been devastating, and it still is. I have relatives in the South Pacific in which their islands are disappearing very rapidly, markedly so. And we have to be able to find another way. And the reason I mentioned the Osage is because there are no fewer than dozens of Indian country energy organizations, which started up under the tutelage of Deb Haaland of the Department of Interior under Joe Biden. And now things have gotten so convoluted, we have to, when we quote the EPA or Department of Energy and all of this, we have to say BT before Trump, because that data has been corrupted so much in just a short period of time. But we're going by the universities and professional organizations and so forth. And I want to call attention to Indian country. They're calling out green colonialism. Yes, you're right. Are we going in the wrong direction as far as resourcing materials for solar and wind, the transmission, and the embedded carbon to build these things? We're going to need the electricity. What is the best way? The best way that Indian country has allowed us to observe is by recycling materials, all of the materials from solar, all of the materials from wind. The carbon, the blades are now used in paving. The solar cells are utilized in recycling. And I want to call attention, and I'm sorry if some of you might feel offended by this, but the Karl Marx Hof in Vienna, which has survived the Nazis, established in 1919. They are a municipal socialism and urban planning, development, and public welfare. Beyond housing, they have public baths, swimming pools, gymnasia, schools, community centers, concert halls, and workers' clubs. If you ever visit Vienna, Austria, please go there. It will give you a good idea what responsible socialism is. And Indian country can also do this with the way they've architected their needs, and in many cases they are completely off-grid with trigeneration, heating, cooling, battery charging. And I might mention something about batteries too. Batteries are getting cleaner now. If you read the literature, we're getting sodium batteries. We're getting very, very clean with that. Yes, and fire is a problem with existing lithium batteries. But it pales in comparison to bomb trains, pipelines, infrastructure of social upheaval that the oil industry has brought us for years. And that's what you're confused about. We really need to go forward on a survivable plan. And I know you're doubting me, but this is real. And this is what your kids and the planet is requiring now. We're already past 1.5 degrees Celsius. We really must do something. And I'm not saying that this big, large-scale solar farm is the answer, or even wind farms. But why aren't we collectively, cooperatively learning about these things which we make the money off of our rooftops, of our demand response from our electric vehicles that still take 7 barrels of oil to build? We have to get cleaner, and we are working that way. Please listen to these kinds of things. Go ahead and dream about this tonight. See what you can come up with in your own consciousness. But you are not the end. We have more generations to come that are looking to us to solve these problems. So I'm not against this. I'm not against you, and not completely for large-scale solar farms, but it is disaster capitalism, sirs, and extinction capitalism will follow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. Okay, questions, comments? Okay, very good. Next up, Steve Howerton. Okay, good morning, Steve. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me speak, Commissioners. I have a lot of issues with the last speaker, but we're going to skip those. This project, and I'm not going to go into a lot of the mechanics and so on, economically, this project will take 10 to 15 years to break even. Evergy will raise our electric rates at least 10%. Every time they build a new wind farm or they're partnered with it, our rates have gone up. Last one, I believe, was 8%. Here we go again. These wind farms are supposedly going to last 35 years. Battery change-outs have to be done every 10 to 15 years, depending on the climate they're working in and so on. I've also read they have issues with the conversion from DC, which is a battery, to AC, which is what we plug our appliances into. So there have been issues with those. Kansas only uses 50% of the power they produce. The rest of it is exported. Much of it, believe it or not, winds up in California. The more we go green, the more we're looking at a California situation. Because when you go green, you're mandated to shut down power plants. That's simple as that. Our energy is clean. Yes, we're not ready for green because we can't afford it. Now, when they come up, and there will be a future for green where we don't have gas, oil, coal plants. Fusion is very close to happening. They can take nuclear plants and make them fusion plants. As far as these panels go, much of their product that goes into them is sourced from China, Vietnam, Malaysia, and South Korea. What goes into those panels, and they are trying to clean them up, but they're still toxic. You have arsenic, cadmium, chromium, copper, lead, mercury, nickel, selenium, silver, tellurium, and zinc. Much of this cannot be recycled. It has to be buried or burned or somewhere. Burning it puts the pollutants in the air. Batteries, same way. Yes, they're going to be clean batteries with the new sodium, but the next ones, the ones we're using now, if they catch fire, the only way to put one of those out is to get McConnell out here with their foam truck and bury it in foam and hope it smothers it. I can't remember the instance. There was one place where it burned for 6 days before it was put out. The property values in the areas that this is going in will fall. There's no doubt about it. And I understand this is a listening situation, but please keep this stuff in mind, because you're hurting people financially, you're hurting them property-wise, and you are endangering them. Where this is going, most of the people are on wells. I don't know if you've seen solar panels on roofs and you've seen the streaks going down their roofs. That is because the panel has leaked and this stuff is leaching out of it. What's to say that field's going to be that way too? As traditional solar companies, they don't stay in business. They sell out or they go bankrupt. You know that from hearing it on the news and reading about it. As with the wind farms, when they sell those, they don't honor the farmers' leases or the ranchers' leases. They have to fight for their money once they change hands. I don't believe that this company will be in business 35 years. I don't believe they will reinstate the land back to its normal function as productive farmland. So this is things that we need to look at very carefully. I don't understand why the state is allowing some of these practices to go on, because they're not fair to the public. They're not fair to the consumer. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Howerton, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, thank you. Okay, Denise Lewis. And then after Denise, the final speaker will be Andrew Crane.
Hello,
Good morning.
my name's Denise Lewis. I live at 14800 West Morning Dove, over at 71st and 135th area, over by Clearwater, and I see a couple fellow realtors on the board. So I'm going to be kind of talking to you from that standpoint as well. So my first concern is I've seen, of course, God loves social media. We've seen lots of comments and things on our, Clearwater page, etc. One of the things that I've seen is, well, if you're going to use the farmland for solar or you're going to use the farmland for building houses, what's the difference? Well, the difference is if you use the farmland for solar, you're giving it up to a company that is not locally owned. You're giving it up to a company that is owned by people overseas. They don't care, frankly, whether or not we have drinking water. I care whether or not I have drinking water at my house. I'm sure all of you care whether or not you have drinking water at your house. I'm sure that you, as realtors on the board, can appreciate what it would do to the property value of a home if you don't have potable water. And yes, you can hook up to rural water in some areas. That is quite expensive. I know that it was offered to us. We chose not to do it. We chose to live where we live for reasons. One of those reasons is that we are fortunate to have well water. It's very clean. It's very safe to drink. We don't have to worry about, contaminants and things for the most part. Some areas do. But, it's very clean water, and that's one of the reasons that we chose to live there. And we chose to live there also so we didn't have to have a water bill. If you have to hook up to rural water development, you do have a water bill. So that's neither here nor there. But at any rate, I think that if you were to use that land, if someone didn't want to continue to farm, if someone were to use that land to develop a home development and develop properties, the difference between that land being owned by foreign investors versus the land being owned by local people, you've got people building homes. If they were to use that property for that, you've got people building homes who are going to put down rents, who are going to pay taxes and contribute to the local economy if someone didn't want to continue to farm that land. So my point being, there's other ways that you could use the land. Zoning changes also affect, we built where we built, we live where we chose to live for reasons. We did not think that we would have to be fighting off large corporations where we live in our backyard. We are a rural area. I have fought off Tyson. And now we're fighting off solar. And it's very frustrating. The zoning changes, we're looking at zoning, we're looking at what's around us. Whenever you buy a house, whether you're looking in the city or in the county, you look at those things and you say, okay, yes, I understand that there may be some changes, but the changes that I can logically expect are this, not that. And so that kind of negates our ability to make an informed decision when we were purchasing the property, in my opinion. Also, I think that we also need to take into consideration the fact that I do have family members who are firefighters, and I'd like to know what the county is going to be doing to prepare the Sedgwick County firefighters to fight these fires. You don't want to put property owners and people's lives at risk. You also don't want to put at risk the lives of your firefighters who would have to go put out these fires. So that affects my family personally. So that is a deep concern that I have, is how much is that going to cost for you to equip the county firefighters to take care of this? Because you can say, oh, there's not a likelihood of a fire, but if there is, you better be prepared. So that's my other question, is how much is that going to cost to prepare the county firefighters? The other thing I've heard is jobs. It's going to bring jobs to the area. You're going to bring, temporary construction jobs to the area, and then you're going to bring a handful of people doing maintenance. That's it. I do not see where this is bringing jobs to the area. So if anyone could provide light on that, that would be great. I'm here in frustration, I guess, more than anything. And I think a lot of us are here in frustration and concern, genuine concern, lots and lots of questions. I also would like to know if the dates when they go to the Planning and Zoning Commission, if those dates for those hearings are going to be available and all that. So sorry, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Commissioner Bluebohm.
Thank you, Chairman. And thank each of you for coming in here this morning. And I appreciate the calls and the emails. I want to keep the dialogue going. As Commissioner House said, we want to remain neutral during this, but I definitely want the feedback. I want to hear what you guys are saying. I'm, seeing the signs out there, no solar, call your commissioner. And my daughter calls me last week, and I was like, hey, what do you need, honey? And she goes, well, it says call your commissioner on the signs. So, but just trying to keep the communication going. Tom, could you give us any kind of ballpark idea where we're even at with a timeline? I don't believe the application is complete now. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, I checked with the planning director maybe Monday of this week, and there's not even a timeline set yet. It's that far out. The application, I don't believe, is complete yet. So I'll keep commissioners aware as he reports in. But
would you guess at least a month or two in the next year, probably, or?
Well, I think it'll be in the year, but I think before application gets done and before it starts working through process, 4 to 8 weeks probably.
Okay. I'm trying to, I don't know how many of you subscribe to my newsletter. I'm trying to keep this stuff out there. Send me an email or give me a call if you want that, because I do want to keep you guys informed. A lot of people think that this has been passed and approved, and that's not the case. And I want you guys to know everything that we know.
I appreciate that. Could you, either Tom or Justin, and Andrew Crane, you're next, so if you want to make your way that way, but could you maybe, since we have so many people that are here on this specific topic, what is the process? Application, then it goes to what? That way we're just very clear and making sure, and what is the communication they're going to receive and where does it come from?
Certainly, I'll address that. Justin Widener, County Councilor. When the application is complete and Planning Department staff sets it for a Planning Commission agenda, there's a notice that's required to go out by state law to any property owners of record within 1,000 feet of the application area. We'll get that. There's also a publication that occurs. All that occurs at least 20 days before the Planning Commission meeting. Also, there's an ability, if you go to the Metropolitan Area Planning Department's website, you can see the agendas. They're released approximately 6 days before each of the meetings, and so those are available. And those will not only include the agendas, but the backup materials the Planning Commission considers as well. So there is an ability to see that. I believe Commissioner Bluebaugh's already talked about that. He sounds like he may have some efforts also that he's making his constituents aware of it, so they can provide input if they want to as well.
Okay, that's very helpful. Commissioner Howe.
Thank you, Jim. I just want to say one more thing. Again, you raised some good questions, as the previous speakers have, and again, I would hope that both sides, whether the proponents or opponents, they do their best to bring us objective answers to those questions at the formal public hearing. So again, the fact that you spoke to us today and you've raised some good questions today, please don't expect us to reflect on today's meeting when that formal public hearing happens. If you don't speak at that meeting and no one else brings up the same point, I will not be thinking about that because it's a formal public hearing. It has to be presented at that meeting for us to consider those arguments. So again, when it is presented, rather than presenting just as a question, I hope someone presents objective answers to the questions as well. But again, my point is this: the fact that you're here today, I appreciate your time and appreciate your presence and your speaking. But it actually really matters that happens at that meeting. Otherwise, no matter what we talk about today, it really won't be considered in that project consideration. So it has to happen at that hearing.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for that
Thank you,
information.
Denise. Justin, Tom, request. We spent a lot of time on solar regs. We had a moratorium that was extended. We hired a consultant. I mean, we spent the better part of, I think, 15 to 18 months doing a lot of this work, and a lot of these discussions took place. Is it possible to get a briefing, a staff briefing, to remind? We have 2 new commissioners that are here now that did not sit in on that process for 18 months. So I don't know if it needs to be in a staff meeting or maybe 2-2-1 setting. I'll let you guys make a decision. But I think I'd like to have a refresher on all the things that we worked through and the policy that exists now in Sedgwick County.
We'll do it in a staff meeting. That way the public can tune in on it.
I think that'd be helpful. Yeah, so if we can get that dialed up sometime soon. I know there's not an application in, but I think this is a nice refresher because there's a lot of people that care deeply about what's happening, and we want to make sure that they understand the current policy that's in place, but also that we have a refresher too. So, okay. Next up, Mr. Andrew Crane. Welcome, Andrew.
Good morning, commissioners, and Mr. Ryan Beatty, and also the city manager too, or county manager. Sorry.
You're good.
And I wanted to bring your attention a bill that is going to be coming across the state legislator's desk, and the National Federation of the Blind has put their stamp of approval on this, and it's the bill, the Kennedy lawsuit on services, and also the states. Chris Kobach has not signed on to the bill yet, and I am urging you guys to contact Chris Kobach to have him sign on to the bill, because it's going to keep services here in the great state of Kansas, and we want that the services and VR services and everything else to stay in place. We do not want it to go away, and I am urging you guys to contact Chris Kobach and all your state legislators to keep this going, because we need to have services in the great state of Kansas and here in Sedgwick County and in city of Wichita too. The city council yesterday, and I was listening in, and I wasn't there, but I wish I was there. They were talking about housing and other issues, and the homeless issue too. And the big issue is housing in Sedgwick County and in Wichita. And if we don't have services, and we don't have Section 8, and we don't have the vouchers, it's going to be detrimental to the disability and blind community and other people. So I am urging you today to contact your state legislators and contact Chris Kobach and tell him that we need to keep services in here in the great state of Kansas. Ryan Beatty, I am wanting to go with you guys in March to the State House and meet with Chris Kobach and tell him about this issue. And I'm wanting to bring everybody, the city and county leaders to that meeting.
Okay, Andrew, thank you, sir. I appreciate you so much. And any questions or comments? Go ahead, Commissioner Howell.
Thank you, Chairman. Just wanted to ask, Andrew, do you have a bill number for this bill you're speaking
Yes,
about?
I do. It is, let me get it out here. Give me just a second. It is bill number, it is 504 is the bill number.
Okay, that'd be Senate Bill 504.
Yeah.
And maybe during other, I'll give you a status of the bill to find out. I don't know if you'll wait that long, but I'll look that up and find out what the status is and see where it is in the process.
Beatty should have a copy of that bill because I sent it to him, and I sent all state legislators and everybody that bill.
And I'll just give you one final comment, and we can probably go on here. But the legislative session is supposed to be very short this year, and they are not. They've declared, if you will, a disinterest in anything that's not tax and budget or property tax motivated bills. They actually plan to be out before Easter. They probably plan to final adjournment sometime towards the end of March this year, which is extraordinary. Maybe a record session for being short. And no offense to Mr. Kobach, but he probably doesn't have a vote in this bill. Whether he supports it or not may not really matter. The legislators are the ones that need to vote for the bill, and if that's something they believe in, they're the ones that need to come forward and vote for this. But the session will be over towards the end of March, and so any bill that has any chance at all of passing in this two-year session, they started last year, and all the bills will die at the end of final adjournment this year. When that happens, this legislation, if it hasn't already passed the first body by probably around the end of January, it will not have any chance of moving forward. So this session is different than previous sessions, and so I just want to give you a different timeline to consider. If your bill has any chance of passing, we're going to have to see some advancement of that bill before the end of January. Thank you.
Okay.
Very good. And I do have a copy. Andrew, thank you. Senate Bill 504. I'll make sure that my colleagues have it as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your advocacy always for the blind and visually impaired community. We appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you very, very much.
That concludes public comment, so I will make a motion to receive and file.
Second.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Blueball?
Aye.
Commissioner Wise?
Aye.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Commissioner Meiser?
Aye.
Chairman Beatty?
Aye. Okay, next item, please.
New business. Item B, the Greater Wichita Partnership Annual Economic Development Activity Update.
Okay, we have our friends from the Greater Wichita Partnership here today. We'll have a presentation from the president, El Presidente, Jeff Fleur. Welcome, bud.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, County Manager. Jeff Fleur, President of the Greater Wichita Partnership, 505 East Douglas Avenue. Just want to thank you for the opportunity to come and give you an update on what's happening in our city, our region. And importantly, I want to thank you for your partnership. We've been at this for a while now. Downtown Wichita worked with you as a body on a lot of things in that organization. The partnership just celebrated 10 years, which was a quick decade. But again, you have been a partner from day one on working on the regional economic development of our city. Also with me today, we have members of our team, Andrew Nave, who leads economic development. You know him well. He will be participating participating in this presentation. Tammy Bradley, who helps us with our talent initiatives, will also be speaking into it. While she won't be speaking today, but we do have Victoria Caro here, who works with our government relations and also industry development. And I also see him in the crowd, Gary Schmidt, he's actually a board member of the partnership, helped create it 10 years ago, and has been by our side every day. So Gary, thank you for being here as well today. What we want to just share with you quickly is what is happening within economic development within our region. As you know, when the partnership was created, one of the primary goals at the very beginning was how is it that we really get focused on what we're going to be doing with our strategies for deliberate outcomes. And so we really worked with the community based upon research to get into these areas of job creation, and that can mean a lot of different things, from working with new companies, existing companies, attraction of companies. Entrepreneurship is in helping cultivate economic development. Talent, you cannot have companies thriving if you do not have a workforce that's available, if you're not educating that workforce. Tammy will speak more into that in a moment. And then certainly quality of place, and that really is the close affiliation with downtown Wichita, but also working with the airport on connectivity of flight, on how is it we make sure that we're connected to not only other cities in North America, but also globally, because we are a global city. Just this week, we had Boeing acquire Spirit. Boeing is the largest aerospace manufacturer in the world. They're the largest exporter by dollar value in the United States. So incredible new asset for us as far as a corporate citizen, but also continue to build our global portfolio of companies. So all those things become very important as we look to the future. You'll notice that it's a circular diagram. All these things tie together. So as we're touching jobs, it's touching the other two areas and all the rest of the areas as well as we work on job creation. We focus in on these industry sectors for a reason. These are areas where we have large capital investments. So things that you can actually, the infrastructure that we have in place in our region. We also have people with expertise. And so again, it helps position us as we look not only locally in expansions, but also in attracting new companies to Wichita as well. One of the things that our board, and the chairman sits on our board, that we believe in is what is the return on investment? When you invest in a partnership, and again, we greatly appreciate the new agreement that you actually approved maybe a month ago now for another 3 years in the partnership. Our commitment to you is that we're going to leverage every dollar that you invest in us. Your capital actually goes into our initiatives. The private sector underwrites our team and operation. Your dollars go into how is it we advance the strategies, the initiatives to make great things happen. So if you look from the beginning of the partnership, from 2015 to just recent, that return on CapEx is 138 to 1. And so again, the built environment. The 28 to 1 is actually the payroll growth. And so what that demonstrates is new revenue coming into individuals and families. And so job creation is a driver behind that number. As you look at progress, so the first line is over the last 10 years. We've seen $3.5 billion invested in our region over the last 10 years. Companies, and we as a company, we don't create jobs, but we work with companies that do. So we'll come alongside them to help them create those jobs. Over 14,000 have been created in this 10-year period. The payroll is approaching $750 million of new payroll in the last 10 years. The next line looks at the last three. Our last agreement with you was over a 3-year period. $878 million in capital investment, over 2,000 jobs, and again, an annual payroll of over $120 million. Again, new capital in our economy and driving great success. If you look at the active pipeline, $5.3 billion in opportunities with new projects. Andrew will speak to this next about what's in that pipeline, what begins to constitute that. Over 16,000 jobs could be created with these new capital investments, and a payroll of approaching $1 billion. So again, what we're starting to see now, if you want to equate it to a flywheel, it is turning, and it's having incredible results. And one of the things that we've been working on, as well as a goal, is to create industry depth. In addition to being very tactical in what we do, creating industry depth was another one of those big challenges, or opportunities, I should say, that was given to us at the beginning of the partnership. And Andrew will speak into that, but an example of that is what's happening within aerospace. Senator Moran has been an incredible partner for us in bringing defense and space to this country, to this region. So what happens is that the senator is a key appropriator in space and defense. And as you can imagine, companies like Blue Origin, SpaceX, ULA, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, they all want to have an audience with our senator. The senator is more than welcome to do that, but he'll have that meeting in Wichita. And you have been a part of that many times. Northrop Grumman has been here twice this year. So again, and this is their CEO leadership we're talking about coming into our community. That's allowed our supply chain, which is 350 companies deep in aerospace here in this region, 450 statewide, to diversify their book of business. We love commercial aviation, always will, and GA, general aviation, but it's wonderful to have defense and space now as a part of that portfolio of work. So we're now going to have Andrew come up and walk through what is it that we're seeing in the pipeline, what type of open projects that we're seeing, and also what he sees in the future as we go forward. So Andrew?
All right, Andrew, welcome, bud.
Hey. Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Jeff. Happy to speak to our activity, and as Jeff mentioned already, your engagement with us is a key part of that. So thank you for your leadership, and thank you for your active participation, not just as our elected leaders, but certainly your team. We work regularly with the manager's office and a number of the team here, so appreciate that very much. As Jeff talked about, the pipeline of our activity is very robust. This depiction here talks about the variety of industries that we have. There's about 67 active or finalist projects. We consider a project to be a private sector company that is making a near-term decision over the next 2 years of where to put either capital investment or jobs. And that our team, someone on our team, has had some level of engagement either with that company directly or their representative. So maybe it's a real estate broker, maybe it's a consultant, maybe it's their attorney. But we know that we're working that number of projects. Probably 10 of those 67 projects that are depicted in these numbers are either in the kind of the finalist category, where we know we're down to just our location in Sedgwick County or the region or another competing location, or it's pending. There's 3 or 4 projects that we know that we have won, that we are working with that company, with that decision-making team on making a public announcement. Maybe they're finishing up their real estate transaction. Maybe they're alerting their board of directors. So we're working with them through that process. But we have about 130 projects that Jeff mentioned that total all of these numbers. He has, I think, an unfair and unrealistic expectation that we win 100% of them. Still working on that, have yet to accomplish that, especially that this week is my annual review week. So that's always optimistic for me. But no, we have a very robust pipeline. You can see a variety of industries here. That tracks with, largely tracks with history. We always are heavy with, I'll call them industrial uses, advanced manufacturing, aerospace. Jeff is right, the aerospace projects that are active or finalists there, the 28 of those, about 8 or 10 of those are defense related. So that segment of the pie is absolutely growing for us. But within data, kind of the greenish color to the left of the graphic is also growing as well with cybersecurity software, and there are some data center inquiries. So that is absolutely growing. Moving on, in terms of the number of projects that our team opened this year, you can see certainly about a 14% increase over last year. So that trend line has been continuing since COVID. The main places that our team opens a project, the main sources of that are the largest sources, the Kansas Department of Commerce, the statewide economic development organization that we work with very closely. Trade shows is about 25% of the activity and the deal flow, and the projects that we call them that we get are from the various trade shows that we go to. And again, your guys' funding support directly correlates to us, our ability to go to those trade shows, to exhibit at those shows, to travel to those shows. That's directly correlated to project activity. And then our investors, members of the Greater Wichita Partnership and regional economic developers are the other large source of activity. Jeff mentioned it, so I won't park on it too long, but our existing business strategy is really unique and something that I'm really, really proud of. It's kind of better to be lucky than good. We kind of backed into this strategy, but now we're really leveraging it very well. Victoria Carroll on our team kind of leads this for our group, where we're using, as Jeff mentioned, Senator Moran's engagement with major companies in the aerospace sector to come to our market, and then we're exposing our supply chain, the 350 plus aerospace companies that make parts, that have services into that industry. We're providing an opportunity and an avenue for them to get engaged with some of these major corporations. Many of these are space related. Obviously, as our country has shifted away from public investments with NASA into the private space sector, that has grown a supply chain, and Wichita is a part of that. These are just a few of the companies that we've worked with, and you can see the numbers there, over $80 million in new revenue that has come into the Wichita region because of these engagements. That's local businesses. That's not a new company coming in and opening up a plant. That's a local company expanding their book of business and maybe adding employees when they're exposed to this. So really excited about that program of work. You're familiar with the work that we do with trade shows, and most distinctly internationally. We don't just go to the aerospace shows. There's other trade shows in industries. Hannover Messe is an advanced manufacturing show that our team goes to in Germany. But this depicts kind of activity at the International Air Show, which we appreciate Commissioner Meitzner engaging with us on and participating in that. And Anissa on your team has joined us there as well from a staff perspective. So very much appreciate that level of activity. But not just the trade show booth that we use public dollars to help support. We have a chalet, which this photo is depicting an announcement at our chalet. And then I think you all know this, but the industry event that we host, we call it the Air Capital of the World Reception, is not just become the biggest economic development event at the air shows. It's almost the biggest event, bar none, of anybody. We throw a really significant event that helps highlight Sedgwick County's strength in aerospace. And so something that our region should be really proud of. There's projects, our team works diligently across the county. There's projects there you can see with the confidential code names that these companies, their clients or their attorneys give us to work with to ensure their confidentiality as they're making transactions. But we work all across the county. You can see a number of projects that have been submitted. Bel Air and Mays are not the only two locations, but I wanted you all to see the volume that we promote in those two communities because they have fully developed industrial parks. Where we have product, where we have sites is where our economic development momentum tends to head. So as you all continue to make investments in infrastructure and in growth, thinking of those dynamics is really important. Where we have product is where we're able to see results. And then you can see a number of other ways that we've been active across the county. Jeff asked me to highlight just two projects real quickly that kind of highlight the work of the partnership team over the last couple of years across Sedgwick County. And I wanted to highlight Charlotte Pipe is probably the most recent project that we worked on together. We had that as Project SIR was the code name. We opened that project in November of 2021, a lead that came from the Kansas Department of Commerce. We entertained their real estate professionals kind of on their first visit, and then several rounds of their executive leadership team that came in over the course of the next year. We're able to knock down all of their questions and all of their concerns about investing in a new pipe factory in the middle part of America to serve their growing customers. And it ended up in Mays, Kansas. And so the partnership that we had, you all were key partners in that and providing the funding match, quite frankly, that allowed the rail spur and the road improvements to happen there with the Kansas Department of Transportation was critical to make that deal come together. And now we're going to have 50 new jobs in the northwest part of the county. So really pleased about that. A little further back, going back to 2019, was a project we worked in Clearwater. So Plains Cotton Cooperative, PCCA, is one of the largest cotton producers and warehousers in the country, based out of Lubbock, Texas. They opened up a fairly good size warehouse in Clearwater to supplement the cotton gins that they had across southern Kansas. As that row crop has increased across Oklahoma and Kansas, that need for that product to be stored grew. And in spring of 2019, then City Manager Ron Marsh reached out to our team, knowing the engagement with you all and your staff. He reached out and said, hey, we need help to make this project become a reality. And so you all also participated in that with some road improvements, which was really important to that project coming together. So we've actively worked with other communities to get maybe their site development, their industrial parks, maybe the business park, maybe just the raw piece of land at the edge of town. Our staff, primarily Linda Jolly, has been meeting with each one of these communities at various ways, various degrees, about preparing their community, preparing that part of the county for economic development and investment. So working broadly across the county. And then the last thing I'll hit on is what we call our regional EDO meetings. These are quarterly meetings that we host across the county, across the region really, but we bring together anybody that speaks with the economic development voice in the region. So maybe they work for a city, maybe they work for a county government, maybe they're employed by a chamber of commerce or another nonprofit. If you wear the hat for economic development in your place in South Central Kansas, we want to come together and we want to share best practices. And so we've had many of those meetings across the county. We will continue to do that. Again, just appreciate the opportunity to to be your eyes and ears for economic economic development out there in the community and across Sedgwick County. So now I'll turn over to Tammy to talk about our talent initiatives.
Yes. All right. Tammy, welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about this. It's one of my favorite topics, so pleased to do it. Just to reset a little bit, about 4 years ago, the county, the city, the state, Workforce Alliance here locally, and the partnership all funded a report, a plan, if you will, with Deloitte that set the stage for being able to do this work in talent with the partnership. Looked at the future of work, future of workforce, and let me tell you, things have changed in the 3 years since then in ways we hadn't even anticipated, and it will continue to do that. So that plan drives our work. It has 13 priorities in it, quality of life, jobs. We sit in the middle of that, and we're really pleased to do the work that we've been able to do following that plan. Like I said, this is about the third year of activation for that plan, and we still have a ways to go, but we realize that we're making some progress. A big part of the work, I'm going to highlight 4 things. A big part of the work really is to align education partners, all of our wonderful education, K-12, WSU, WSU Tech. I mean, we are blessed in this community to have all of these resources when it comes to education, looking at the future of work and what skills are being needed. But we really need to align that with what the industry says we need. So we have spent a lot of time the last 3 years bringing together leaders in those areas together to talk about what the future of work looks like and what skills will be needed to get there. That's why we see now future work, future
Ready Centers.
Thank you, Future Ready Centers. We are at number 3 now through a partnership with WSU Tech and Wichita Public Schools. I believe there will be a 4th one in the future looking at trades and those skills. So again, we have a lot of work that we've been doing to bring those leaders together. This year we threw into the mix an opportunity to bring executives from those education institutions together with the Board of Regents and look at some things that will be talked about in changing the way that higher education programs are delivered to meet the needs of industry. So that is one area where workforce, industry, and education align. The second area that we've really put a lot of time and effort into this year is economic mobility. This is really important as we look at our region, as our county. People in rural parts of our county and our region have different but similar needs as our urban areas. And we're looking at how workforce can be meeting those needs no matter where people are. So moving people up a ladder in terms of the training and the workforce education that they're getting, if they are already in the workforce system or if they're kids coming right out of school. We want to make sure there are programs in place to help them move up that economic ladder. We were able to leverage funds and get grant funding to be able to do this work. And so we have been able to establish a plan within that part of the roadmap, and we are going to be activating it in the next 6 months. And we anticipate that'll probably last at least 3 to 4 years with funding from a separate source. Part of that plan was we went to Greenville, South Carolina, and Charlotte, North Carolina. Both communities have done a great job of putting plans in place to look at economic mobility, and so we wanted to glean from them what we could bring to Wichita in terms of programs. And we'll talk a lot about proximity, and I just have to highlight a few of the pieces we already have in place here in Wichita. Proximity of training programs to where people live is so important. Goodwill in our community is doing a remarkable job of putting their training and education centers and their retail centers together in parts of our community where people can go for those services. So we have, like I said, we have great partners doing this work. Biomed was a big topic for us this year as we were looking for that alignment between education and industry. And we were really excited that we we were able to spin off an opportunity with Nexus to talk about entrepreneurship in that area and the corridor that we have developing downtown. So we were able to bring in one of the directors from the FDA through help from Senator Marshall's office. We had a person who worked in this area out of Texas, and they are blown away by what's being built here and the merging of engineering and manufacturing and medicine. So that was exciting. Last thing I'll talk about is a website called Choose Wichita, where we use that as a tool as the employers in our community and our region are hiring. Choose Wichita is a tool that we offer to HR managers, CEOs, really anybody who wants to work with it, and it provides a snapshot of what folks will be coming into if they're going to relocate here to work in Wichita. We have a hype video we're very proud of. We have lists of community and cultural programs and institutions like the zoo that we're very proud of, and so we use that quite a bit. So that's talent in a nutshell.
Yes.
Did I take as much time as Andrew? No.
Very good. Tammy, thank you.
Thank you
for that.
The Choose Wichita site is actually came out of the moment when Cargill, if you'll go back to 2016, 17, the partnership was a year out of the gate, and Cargill was leaving, and a community rallied, a state rallied, and we were able collectively to keep them here, and they built a new regional headquarters along Douglas Avenue. But one of the big things coming out was this site. In talking to Brian Sykes at the time, he said, Jeff, I don't have a problem selling who Cargill is. I have a challenge on talking about Wichita. And so this site was really developed to come alongside companies so that as they're talking about the opportunity within their building, they could say, this is the city that you're considering. This is the opportunity that you have in this city versus Dallas or Denver. And so again, that was something that came out of listening to our business community, and through resources you helped us with, we were able to position this to move forward. I'm just going to spend a few moments and we'll conclude. Tammy mentioned the biomedical corridor. This was your groundbreaking. Time is flying now. I guess maybe a month ago, maybe. It could have been yesterday compared to everything going on. Thank you for your investment in this. The biomedical campus with KU, WSU, WSU Tech, Victoria just yesterday was in a neighboring state that is having now conversations with us about how we connect what they're doing in their state with what's emerging here. And it could actually be a tri-state area. When we were at the International Air Show, one of my favorite stories is that we were talking to a space company, and we mentioned biomed and what was happening, and it quickly turned to pharmaceutical development and what they're doing in space. And they threw out the concept of literally connecting from the Earth's surface to space. And my mind started to go, how does that even work? And then it hit me. I don't need to know how that works. We just want it here. And so again, it's opening up opportunities. I think that Aaron Bastian has said that he believes this is probably one of the most transformational projects in his lifetime. And I would agree with that. I think there's so many opportunities with it. You see the corridor here going up to Via Christi. There's an incredible opportunity to anchor into research that they're doing into the biomed. So I think a great emergence into the future of the opportunity, and you all have been an active part of it. Tim's been a big part of that, and so I want to thank you, Tim, for your work, because again, every week when we're on those biomed calls, Tim is there, so we're going to miss you on those calls. But again, thank you to the county for the vision, and you also hired the same architectural team. Thank you, because again, tying that all together is extremely important as you think about the urban fabric and how it works, and so thank you for that investment as well. Thank you for what you're doing with the mental health hospital. Chairman, you mentioned it earlier. These things really do complement each other. And again, I think your investment in that and the vision to do it, we greatly appreciate that leadership. And again, Tim, thank you for your leadership as well. In closing, we all build Wichita. every person has a role. You all step up over and over again, and we appreciate that. As we look at our funding, we make a commitment. About 80% of our funding is private. The 20% is what you invest and the city invests. And again, we use those dollars publicly for initiatives. The private takes care of running the company. We're really excited that Craig Bay is going to be joining us in January as our new COO. A lot of things excite me about Craig. One is that he actually worked with us in the beginning years of the partnership, working with Andrew to forge relationships in the region that at that time were pretty fractured. But today, I think there's a unified front from a regional perspective to join together to develop the region. Craig has been running KDOT over the last 6-7 years. I love the aspect that he's going to be bringing international knowledge to our team, and that working with a company based out of Japan, merging with LE engineers, that perspective is going to be really helpful for us as, again, we reinforce that we are a global city in that economy. We have great impacts. So again, thank you for what you all are doing, how you're leaning in. You never hesitate to take a call from us. You actively get engaged in issues that we are trying to work through, or work with prospects to get them across the line to come in. So thank you for doing that on a repeated basis. I know two of the commissioners I worked with over at City Hall. That's how long I've been involved with this game, with developing Wichita. But again, thank you for that commitment, because when the private sector is aligned and there's political will, you can't stop us. And so again, thank you for that. Myself, Andrew, Tammy, we'll stand for any questions that you may have.
Well, I have questions and comments, but I want to open this up for the commission. Any questions, comments? Commissioner Howell.
All right, thank you, Chairman. Appreciate the briefing. These are always great numbers to reflect on, and it's always exciting to see what's going on, so thanks for sharing that.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to remember, did you go with us to Detroit? Were you on that trip?
I did not. I was not, but we had, I think Ricky Ellison from our team was on that trip.
It was a great trip, and 50 people, I forget exactly who all was there, because I actually went on 2 trips back to back, and I forget who was on which trip. But nevertheless, it was interesting. We had a discussion there in Detroit regarding economic development. And they're very proud of their city. And I have to tell you, I had preconceived ideas, and I'm almost embarrassed to say, I did not have a good opinion of Detroit before I went, but they changed my opinion. They are doing some extraordinary things that have really changed that city in a very positive way. But one of the great discussions that we had there was at their WSU, which is Wayne State University. They have a guy that reminded me very much of Jeremy Hill, and his name was Ned Stabler. And Ned Stabler, I think, is their expert on economic development. And he talks about things that they're doing to kind of change the opinion of people who visit Detroit, and talking to the people on the street. They like living there. It was a city that was clean. I didn't see any graffiti anywhere. I didn't see any homeless downtown. I didn't see any litter on the streets. It was an amazing place to visit. But some of the things they're dealing with, they have excessive housing, and they're doing everything they can to get home ownership, which I thought was a great an initiative for the city, was to really promote home ownership. They're doing a great job on that. The Ned Stabler really blew our minds when he talked about what they're focused on for economic development. It was his first statement to our 50-person delegation was, everything you ever thought you knew about economic development, everything you're doing right now, it's all wrong. I thought that was very bold statements, but now you got my interest, and so he began to explain their perspective on that with things they've learned. And I think he's such a great speaker. I would like to see him come in. I'd like to see this county commission, maybe the city of Wichita, the chamber, and whoever else, GWP might be part of this, just to really sponsor him coming in to speak to us at least once, because his perspective is just very, very different than everything I've ever heard before. So with that, I have that plus me a couple of other questions or comments here. But sure. I don't know if you've heard about Ned Stabler yet or not, but if you haven't, certainly please check that out. I think he doesn't really want to be a podcaster, so he doesn't have a lot of stuff out there on the web. But I do think he is He's very good at speaking at this topic. Just a couple of questions I have here. And if you don't want to answer, please feel free to say, I don't want to answer. That's okay with me. But does GWP plan on taking any position on the 1% sales tax that we've heard about?
The board will actually be hearing about the sales tax on Friday.
Okay.
As far as whether the board, what the position would be.
I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. I don't even live in Wichita, so it's not technically impact me where I live, but it obviously impacts our community. Some of the initiatives they're talking about, I strongly support. Some of those I have a little concern about. But as we talk about this, I don't know, as you guys consider this, the county's been talking about a 0.25% sales tax. I've been talking about this. We've not had a decision yet, but I've been talking about a 0.25% sales tax really dedicated solely to property tax relief. But what that also would do, it would be voter approved and would give a pipeline of funds for Sedgwick County Zoo, especially, and other culture and recreation and cultural programs, community programs in Sedgwick County. It would offset $35 million in our budget, and we would see property tax relief on the county side, which impacts all county residents, somewhere between 4 to 5 mils property tax reduction. I think if you calculate the city's proposal, it's about the same property tax reduction, but theirs is a full 1%. And of course, with theirs, they're also seeing some capital investment for public safety, police stations and fire stations, as well as a homeless initiative and performing arts. And so they have some other things built into theirs, which is why theirs is probably a little bit more than 80% spending, projects, things like I just mentioned a minute ago, about maybe a little bit less than 20% would be property tax relief, whereas ours, in my opinion, is to displace things already in our budget for the most part. And the only thing I think that would significantly be new spending would be Interest Bank Arena, but it's going to become a property tax problem if we don't find a solution to it. So I would classify all of ours as property tax relief, about somewhere between 4 to 5 mils property tax relief. And again, what ours would do, it would provide a pipeline of revenue for things like Sedgwick County Zoo and other cultural arts and community programs. So I just want to make sure that that's something that's being understood, that there is their proposal, which has got a date on the calendar, our proposal, which I think gets legislative approval. We need to move forward if we're going to do that. And if ours was going to move forward, I would hope we'd vote on ours towards the end of the year. But I would not want to promote ours in any way, even through the legislature. They might need to speak to it before, because they may adjourn again in March or early April. But I would have no intent of putting ours on a ballot if the Wichita's would pass. So ours would be contingent on theirs not passing. If theirs did pass, I would probably just withdraw when that became obvious that we would need to stop. Because I don't think there's appetite for a 1% from them and a 0.25% from us. I think it's just too much. I don't think we ought to have that conversation. But I do think, as we're talking about their proposal, we ought to be aware of there is another proposal that's out there. So I just want to throw that out there.
Yes, sir.
Can you please talk a little bit about, again, if we need to concede as a community, that's fine. I'm just still in the back of my head. We spent a lot of time last several years talking about Integra and the project up at Bel Air. Do we have any type of conclusion to that entire topic that we can talk about publicly? If not, that's fine, but I would just want to know if we conceded, are we moving on, or is this something that still has hope? I mean, where are we at on the project?
Yeah, Commissioner, happy to speak to that. Integra Technologies was acquired by Micros Corporation out of New York State, and so that's been made public. What they acknowledged in that process and in that acquisition was that their application for the CHIPS Act was I don't know if it was rescinded or was tabled, but their CHIPS Act application federally was not advanced, and that was what was always publicly stated was the motivating factor in a significant portion of their large expansion project in Northeast Sedgwick County. Micros Corporation, we have engaged with them. We have met with their leadership. I believe that they have full intent to continue to grow and expand and make investments in Sedgwick County. So may not be at the scale that what was once talked about or discussed, but we do have hopes that Integra Technologies, now part of Micros Corporation, will continue to grow and expand.
I just want to extend my appreciation to the company that was Integra, that whatever name you said today. They are a very important company to our community. I was hoping that would go forward, because I think that fundamentally that's a very good project for our nation to focus on, is chips manufacturing and how that impacts security of our nation going forward. So I think it's a worthy topic, and I hope that the topic is revived, but we spent a lot of time thinking about how to lure them to our community, and I guess to concede, for the moment at least, that this is not a live project.
I would say that particular project is not going to happen, but we're pleased that Micros is in the community and investing in Sedgwick County.
Well, anyway, just a bit of a disappointment to realize that we basically need to stop thinking about that one for now. Okay, so thank you for that update. Appreciate it very much.
Okay, very good. Commissioner Blubaugh.
Thank you, Chairman. Jeff, I've appreciated working with you guys over the city since the GWDC and watching the transition and going to the cluster model and, all the things that we went through to get to where we are today. And I think we have the model now. I think we're doing the right things, but, we're going to have, I'm not telling you anything, we're going to have challenges nationally as well as locally, and we just got to keep the momentum up and keep building on what we got. So really appreciate you guys and Gary, and I guess Gary's not over there now, but I just really appreciate you guys and just want to keep the momentum going.
I appreciate it, and you have, sir. You've helped us tremendously in thinking about how we diversify our economy, which is one of the reasons I'm so excited about what's happening with the biomed, but also cybersecurity. That's something we didn't even touch on today, and we've had two firms, one nationally move their headquarters here, the other was an international company, and so again, how we diversify is really critical as we go forward. So thank you.
Congratulations on 10 years too. I mean, because it did seem like we were mostly just aviation and tier 2 suppliers. It seemed like that was most of the conversation. So diversifying and opening up to the cluster model, I think, is really taking us to the next level.
That's great. Yeah. Commissioner Meitzner.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff, again for the. My microphone working? It's unplugged. I'm unplugged. Hey, I know yesterday you also presented at the city.
Yes, sir.
And one thing, can you re-clarify to the commission and our public the funding?
Yes, sir.
The public funding that we participate with the city.
Yes, sir.
Versus, and then the private funding.
Yes, sir.
And how ours stays specific to certain stuff and the public funding.
One of the great things that's been, I think, happened with the partnership, certainly working with the community, is that the private investment, if you looked at where it was back in 2015, it was around $1 million. This year, we're $3.3 million in the private sector investment. Again, incredible, I think, support by the private sector to say, we know what we want to go after, let's aggressively go get that done. You as the public sector have historically been involved with it. Originally, it was like $300,000. This last year, it was $4 million. You're going to $450 in 26, $500 in 27, and then $550 in 28. The city is mirroring you for the first 2 years of $450, $500, $500. But again, that is positioning us well to be able to execute. And one of the things we know about economic development, it is a dynamic ecosystem in that there are new variables coming in even faster now as I even speak. The project size that we're dealing with now, we have more mega projects, and by that, Andrew, I'll test myself to make sure I get it right, is about $1 billion of investment, 1,000 employees, and the sites that they're requiring are much larger. And we're seeing multiples now of those on a yearly basis. So again, what that tells us is that we're positioned to be in the conversation. You're not always going to get every one of them like we wish we could, but again, we're positioned for success, and we do get them. And so that to me is, again, Mr. Commissioner, is where your public dollars are going into the initiatives, not the operations and the staff. It goes into contractual work that we may do to get expertise to look at something, to lead something for us. But again, the burden of the FTEs is all in the public sector, the private sector, and the public is truly the initiatives.
Right. Well, thank you for clarifying that. And along those lines, if I can just bear with me, when Andrew had mentioned the big event we had at the World Air Show.
Yes, sir.
Whatever it was called.
Air Capital of the World reception.
Air Capital of the World.
Yes, sir.
Oh, nice title. But even that was it was incredibly impressive. But even that, thanks to your effort and Victoria coordinating it, but even that was, you guys went out and got a lot of sponsorships for that.
Yeah.
So that was impressive of the sponsor, because it was a pretty big pretty pricey wedding ceremony. That was
We had the purpose of that is to make sure we have the right people in the room to drive our industries. And that particular day, we had 10 sitting U.S. senators. Yeah. We had 13 members of Congress. Yep. We had the U.S. Secretary of Transportation. You had over 90 global companies in the room. Their CEOs were in the room, and it was a decision place. It also sets the tenor for that week's work, and that's a purpose behind it as well, because Dr. Tomlin has told us that particular event, he a lot of times is able to conduct the business that he has come to Paris or London to conduct because those individuals are in the room. So again, it's very purposeful. I do want to give Victoria Caro a lot of credit. She leads that well for our team. A lot of our team is involved with it, but Victoria is the tip of the spear, if you will, to make that happen. We're already planning Farnborough, which will be next summer. And so again, there's an expectation that we go there to deliver on who we are. It's a global stage, and so it's an incredible opportunity. So, Commissioner, thank you for going. It's a week long of intense, multiple meetings per day, well into the evening sometimes, but we walk away with great opportunities.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. What you said, the last two things is also Andrew said that we had, if I remember when we were there, 350 supply chain companies in this region. And if I remember right, there's 500 in the state of Kansas because we're representing Kansas. And that was part of our spiel. But of 500 aviation suppliers and support, 500 in the state, 350 of those are located in this region, which is pretty impressive. And many of them are there and in the booth, and they're very appreciative too. So, and then lastly, we were able, Dr. Muma and a few of us had a chance to meet with so this is in June, right? When we went there, meet with the top 3 Boeing officials, and they were picking our brain about reentering back into the Wichita market, and it was incredibly valuable and a healthy discussion that we got to have one-on-one with you all and the Boeing officials, and they were hoping that by November or something the deal would be secured, but I'm celebrating that it was in December, but at least it was this year. But it's done, and
Yes,
that was great discussion, and we walk away, fingers crossed, saying, yeah, let's hope this goes through. But that's just an example of some of the meetings that are arranged, and many of them are confidential in nature, and that one was until it was finally public now. But those are good. That's just an example of the value of what you guys do, and Victoria makes sure that I'm on time to every spot that she makes me be at. So thank you, Victoria. All right, thanks.
Good, Commissioner Wise.
Jeff, I just wanted to thank you and your team for all of your work, share appreciation with the other commissioners. You guys have shown to be really good stewards of the dollars that we invest and the dollars that your private investors invest for you to go do your work. I appreciate the approach in your presentation today and Andrew's focus that this isn't, your name is Greater Wichita Partnership, but you are working for us regionally. So all of Sedgwick County and counties and cities that touch us are benefiting from your work. So I just wanted to add a quick thank you, and love working with you guys, and love that all that you guys do for us.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Commissioner.
Appreciate that. Okay, I'll put a bow on this. Thank you for this presentation. This has been, and you guys are very active and very involved. You keep us in the loop of what's happening in the community. So I just want to thank you for that. I'll make a couple points and I'll ask one last question.
Yes, sir.
The first is I want to also thank Brent and Anissa.
Yes.
They're your direct contacts many times. Although I serve on your board, the chairman seat serves on the board of the executive board for GWP. But your contacts that you're working with most frequently are the staff, Brent and Anissa. So thank you for the work that you guys do in these and preparing everything in the briefings for us. They're a big part of this equation. Second thing is I really want to draw attention to, I appreciate the conversation around collaborations that Tammy brought in. When I talked to Kelly Billafield, the superintendent of UST 259, and Sherry Utash with WSU Tech, they literally are building the Future Ready School concept around the 7 pillars that you guys are targeting in industrial growth and economic growth. So advanced manufacturing, ag, healthcare, oil, energy, IT, transportation. They're trying to design future-ready schools to develop the pipeline for the 7 things that you're working on developing here. So that's synergy, and that collaboration is intentional. That's why I want to thank you, Tammy, and the team. Thank you for making that intentional. Everybody's rowing in the same direction.
Yes, sir.
As someone who did business in this community previously to being in this seat, that has not always been the case. We were very siloed at a point in time in this community, and that is we are rowing in the same direction, different industries, different sectors. So I appreciate that, and I want to call that out because it's very intentional and it's very important, and I think that's delivered some of the successes that we're having. Another point I want to make, all of these things are so interconnected to why we focus so heavily on economic development. And why does the county invest in a Greater Wichita Partnership? Why isn't it just Wichita? Why is the county involved here? I think what Commissioner Wise mentioned, that we are doing this and leveraging our resources on behalf of that 19 other cities in Sedgwick County. Excuse me, I think that's important to know. But the other thing is all of these things are so directly connected. One of the things that I see, our district attorney, Mark Bennett, is here this morning. He told me when I first got to the commission, talked about crime and surging crime. He said one of the greatest ways, and I'll butcher this quote, Mark, sorry, but it was profound and I wrote it down on my board. One of the greatest things we can do to get a gun out of a kid's hand is get a kid a job. Is that we have to grow economically. We have to have good workforce. We have good, stable workforce, good paying jobs. That's important, not just to creating more assessed value growth in Sedgwick County. It's important to making sure we have healthy families in Sedgwick County. So why do we invest in the Greater Wichita Partnership? Because we can draw a connecting link right back to healthy family. Healthy family, which leads to the last point I want to make. In 2023, when I first got on the commission, you gave this presentation, and you were sitting right there, and I looked at you and I said, we have to grow. I was learning all the data and all the challenges and the property tax challenges and some of the things that we have in public safety and all the things that we have to do and the decisions we have to do here. And it was like a light bulb went off in my head because it became very evident that the best way to tackle some of the challenges that we have is we have to grow this community. We have to grow. It makes every decision much easier if we have more of a tax base, so we have to pull from the individual taxpayer as much. We have to grow, and you guys are a central piece of that. There's stuff that we do here to make this a great community and to try to do things to attract businesses, but you are going out and you're recruiting and attracting and selling this community. So I just want to thank you because it is never, the 3 years I've been on the commission, it has been top of mind that the number one thing we can do to alleviate some of the challenges that we have is grow. We've got to grow, which leads me to my last question now.
Good.
There's a lot of good things happening, a lot of opportunities. What do you need? Like, what do you guys need? I mean, we go to dinners and we send Commissioner Meitzner to these air shows and we show up to the events. And when you have prospects in, we go, we meet, we do our part. Yeah. But what are the barriers that exist right now that you say, hey, we have needs here, and if we're going to go to this point in economic growth and development, we've got to tackle this. We've got to address this. Like, help us understand what are the needs.
I'll hit it from a couple places, and then Andrew, let you speak into it. One is, I think for a community, we have to continue to invest in ourselves. Sometimes that's hard because of economies, but we have to continue to invest in ourselves as a city, which is part of the premise behind this last slide, that we all have responsibility to build Wichita. So continue to invest in ourselves. One of the things I love about this community, I'm not from Wichita, but one of the things I love about this city that I learned very fast is that if we continue to spend the capital to understand what the market is telling us, what does it want to do, where do we lean into opportunity, city. And our platform is built on research. It's the understanding of what is it that the Deloitte plan, the talent roadmap is a prime example of that. So part of my answer, Mr. Chairman, is that we need to continue to invest in ourselves. You all have done that with us. You've partnered with us, and I greatly appreciate that. There will be another moment where we may lean into you again to say, there's a period of time here that we see how we can unlock what we may not understand yet, but we need you to invest. So being willing to have those conversations and to do that is critical. Also is continue to build an environment where business sees itself being able to grow.
That's it. That's good.
That's a big part of it too, and I'll let Andrew speak into that. But again, creating an environment we have, but how do we continue to enhance that? How do we break down the barriers? Some of those may be non-traditional too. That's the other part of this, is that economic development, the child care, transportation.
Right, it's connected.
Those are things that unlock. Now, I think the work that Tammy and Ricky is doing right now with the Health Foundation is going to help us understand the matrix of that even more so. So there may be moments of non-traditional investment, but yet it gets us to a result that you're stressing. We have to be able to grow. That means existing companies growing that are already here, but also net new. How do we bring the net new companies in? That's critical as well. I'll let Andrew speak into it as well.
Yeah, happy to add to that. I would agree with Jeff that the business environment is really critical. I know your team is already having worthy conversations and discussions about, I think of in the housing sector, what are some of the regulations? What are some of the rules that we have in place? They're all positioned well, and they come from good reasons and good history. But as the economy has changed, as business practices have changed, do some of those regulations need to change? Many of them, I think, are probably rock solid, but maybe it's time to address some of those. I think of those aspects related to housing. I think of, and I'll echo the talent blueprint, we as a community, not just Sedgwick County government, but we as a community need to take a new posture towards childcare. We need to take a new posture towards transit. I mean, these are things that I don't necessarily think are Sedgwick County government's burden to solely take on, but we have been having these conversations. We need to continue to have those conversations, because those criteria, I think, if Tammy were here, would speak to those issues of helping our talent base and our workforce take that next step. Related to that would be infrastructure. You guys know kind of where I stand on infrastructure. We have to start looking out 10 years, 20 years, 30 years and beyond. And that's hard to do. That's especially hard to do for the citizenry who sees right in front of them. But I think we have to start to make long-term investments and even more in our roads. Your team does a great job of that across the county, but roads, water, sewer, all of those infrastructure pieces are what's going to set us up for that growth that you talk about, Mr. Chairman. We have to grow our way out of this. But if I look out on the horizon very far, we don't have places to grow in the future. So those are just a few of the things that I would highlight. We have to look down to the future.
Yeah, and I appreciate that regional emphasis. It's very important. It's good. Okay. Last questions or comments? Thank you for your visionary leadership and all that you do. We know very well the impact that you have in this community, and it's a great opportunity to just share with the rest of the public what it is that you do. So thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yep. Okay, Madam Clerk, I'll make a motion to receive and file.
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bluwell?
Aye.
Commissioner Wise?
Aye.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner?
Aye.
Chairman Beatty?
Aye. Okay, Madam Clerk, next item, please.
One more thing.
One second before you call it.
Hey, Jeff Fleur. Yeah, I know you mentioned you're not from here originally, but I just want to say Roll Tide. So.
Let's see. He must be an LSU Tiger fan. Yeah, okay, there you go. Thank you, guys. Okay, Madam Clerk. Next item, please.
Item C, agreement with KDOT to purchase and preserve right-of-way for the Northwest Expressway project CIP number R328.
Tom or Justin, what do you?
Yeah, Chairman, let me start, and then Justin can chime in too. We'd like to defer this 1 week. We're still working on an agreement with KDOT that is not quite done. So, Chairman, or Justin, you want to?
Yeah, that's correct, Chairman. There's a discussion on this, the agenda review on Friday. Lynn Packer's communicated some with KDOT. Believe there's an agreement in principle principle about what was discussed Friday. We just haven't finalized all the language on that. Should be able to have that by next week, I would hope.
Okay, so we're just still working out some details?
Correct.
Okay, I think that's very fair. We want to make sure it's done correctly. And Lynn, I appreciate the work you're doing with KDOT and hearing from the commission and trying to work that out for us. So I have no problems making a motion to defer. Everybody good here? Okay, so I'll make a motion to defer item C till a later date.
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bluewell. Commissioner Wise.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner Miser.
Aye.
Chairman Beatty.
Aye. Okay, next item, please.
Item D, report of the bidded boards, contracts regular meeting on December 4th, 2025.
Waiting so patiently. Joe Thomas, there he is.
Thank you very much. Good to see you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Joe Thomas, Purchasing Director. Pardon me. The regular meeting of the Board of Bids and Contracts on December 4th, we have one item for you, and that is our 2026 recommended insurance renewals for risk management. And this recommendation is to accept the insurance premium renewals as listed, and this is for an estimated cost not to exceed $557,800. So I'll be happy to try to answer any questions and recommend approval.
Okay, one item on bid board. Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendations of the Board of Bids and Contracts December 4th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
A motion, a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bluewell.
Aye.
Commissioner Wise.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner Meitzner.
Aye.
Chairman Beatty.
Aye. Hey, Joe, thanks, sir.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Commissioners. Thank you.
Okay, well, let's keep moving, Madam Clerk. Next item, please.
Consent agenda.
Hey, Tom.
Good morning, Chairman and Commission. Tom Stoles, County Manager's Office, recommending approval of consent items E through O with the exception of H. When we had agenda review on Friday, Chairman, you wanted that one pulled to talk about it. So.
Yeah, and to be clear, I fully plan to support item H, but I think this is one of those deals that I want the public to hear about. So, we're gonna pull item H for discussion. So, any questions on consent agenda? Nope. Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda items E through O with the exception of item H.
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bluewell.
Aye.
Commissioner Wise.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner Meiser.
Aye.
Chairman Beatty.
Aye. Okay, item H. Tom, go ahead. If you want to call item H.
Yeah, I want Adrian to come up to the podium. We have funded Project Access for a couple of generations here at the county. It's an incredibly important program, and I think Adrian's probably best qualified to talk about it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about what's happening here. Adrian?
Good morning for 10 more minutes, Chairman and Commissioners and Board of Health. So on the consent agenda is your consideration of the agreement with Central Plains Healthcare Partnership, Sedgwick County Board of County Commissioners, and the City of Wichita to partner with the Sedgwick County Health Department under the Project Access program. So Project Access is a partnership program that facilitates accessibility to medical care, including needed prescription medications and medical equipment for uninsured low-income residents of Sedgwick County, and that is those who fall below 250% of the federal poverty guideline. And in the audience is Shelley Duncan, the Executive Director of Project Access. So Project Access was created in 1999 and operates within the Central Plains Healthcare Partnership, which is a community-wide network of public and private organizations that identify individuals who may qualify for assistance. Additionally, many local physicians and hospitals do and have volunteered their time and facilities. Several pharmacies have offered prescriptions at a reduced cost to assist in serving these individuals as well. Funding for the 2026 project comes from a variety of sources, including the City of Wichita, Sedgwick County, United Way, as well as private contributions and fundraisers. This $200,000 from Sedgwick County allocation in 2026 will be used to fund portions of numerous salaried positions and to pay for prescription and durable medical equipment. This contribution, which is important from Sedgwick County, will supplement efforts to ensure that the medically underserved residents of Sedgwick County have access to medications and supplies that lessen the burden of chronic illnesses. Now, for numbers, Project Access is currently facilitating medical care for 842 Sedgwick County residents, with approximately 380 of those 842 being new patients, and this is a 10% increase from last year. The total donated services this year so far are approximately $5.6 million, and since the inception of Project Access in 1999, the amount of donated services is over $274 million.
Well, Adrian, that's why I wanted to pull this off of consent and make sure the public was aware for a couple things. Number one, I wanted to publicly thank Shelley and the team. It's incredible. This is one of those investments that we make as Sedgwick County that a lot of people aren't aware, but that the return on that investment in regards to the quality of life and the impact it's having to our entire medical system is profound. 842 residents have received care this last year, correct?
This year so far.
This year so far. The 10% increase is a concerning number, and I think that you can correlate that with other things that we're seeing in our community with poverty and some of the growth there. That's very concerning. Mm-hmm. But the $5.6 million of donated services this last year, I mean, that's just incredible. So thank you for this relationship. Thank you for Project Access. Thank you to all the doctors, medical providers, all the pharmacies, everyone that's involved here. We are a very charitable community, and this is one example of how individuals and professionals in this community donate their time, services, equipment, and such to make sure that they're serving people that need it. So I thought this was worthy of pulling off and letting the community know all the great work that's happening at Project Access and how proudly we are to support it. So, okay, Adrian, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. So thanks for coming. Questions or comments on item H? Okay, seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve item H on the consent agenda.
Second.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bluebell?
Aye.
Commissioner Wise?
Aye.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Commissioner Meiser?
Aye.
Chairman Beatty?
Aye. Okay. Why don't we pause the county commission meeting right now, and I'm going to call to order the governing body of Fire District Number 1. Call that meeting to order for Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. Madam Clerk, first item, please.
Roll call. Commissioner Bluebell?
Present.
Commissioner Wise?
Present.
Commissioner Howell?
Present.
Commissioner Meiser?
Aye.
Chairman Beatty?
Present.
Present. Next item, please.
Public agenda.
No one has signed up for public agenda for the fire district, so we'll keep moving. Next item, please.
Consent agenda.
Manager Stoltz.
The chairman asking for approval of consent item A on the fire agenda.
Okay. Any questions on consent item A for the fire district? Okay, seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve consent item A.
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bluebell?
Aye.
Commissioner Wise?
Aye.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Commissioner Meiser?
Aye.
Chairman Beatty?
Aye. Okay, next item, please.
Other.
Anything under other for the fire district? Okay, next item.
Executive session.
We have no executive session today for the fire district, so we'll officially adjourn the governing body of Fire District Number 1 and bring us back to the Board of Sedgwick County Commissioner meeting. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Committee reports.
Okay, Commissioners, any committee reports you'd like to share with the public? Okay, seeing none. Next item, please.
Other.
Anything under other? Could I compel you to share a little bit about this morning?
I guess I have two things. Let me talk about the KAC for just a few minutes. The KAC is conducting their annual conference here in Wichita again, and I really appreciate them choosing Wichita. There's a really large group of people that come together under the Kansas Association of Counties. And this includes, by the way, not just county commissioners, but county appraisers, county election officers, county clerks, county sheriffs, all sorts of county government comes together with lots of different parts of what we see all across our state in county governments. And it's a time for us to share our concerns, our things we're proud of, and to develop, if you will, a legislative platform, which is one of the reasons they come together. And so I appreciate my colleagues giving me the chance to vote on behalf of Sedgwick County, and I didn't cause any ruckus this morning or yesterday. I don't think I'll be in the news, which is probably a good thing. But anyway, they did pass a platform. Really just a couple changes since last year. Their platform is really quite good. We have impacted their platform over the last several years. Last year was a very lengthy discussion, and there were some significant changes to their platform last year as a consequence of the conversations that Sedgwick County initiated. And I think that those changes are still in the platform going forward. And the only things they did this year, there's only 4 changes. They're fairly minor. One of them talks about tax lids and spending caps, which again, we probably have a difference of opinion on this one a little bit. I'm willing to concede. I don't think it's worth having a public fight over that necessarily. But there is some stronger language regarding tax lids and spending caps. My opinion is the platform doesn't really talk about valuation caps enough. I think there's an opportunity there. I think they understand the position of the membership there, that whether it's in the platform or not, I think they understand kind of our position and a pretty strong position of other counties regarding property taxes and how we don't seem to support the Senate's position on valuation caps, especially assessment growth caps. That was discussed. We did have a meeting yesterday in the evening, lasted about an hour. We had very good discussion, and this was discussed at length, but the platform, I think, was not needing to be amended for that specifically. There was some clarification regarding unilateral annexation. I'll just like to remind our commission today and the public that this wasn't even in the platform at all a year ago. We added this because we have raised the discussion regarding counties ought to have a position that talks about how unilateral annexation is unfair to county residents that don't have representation in those discussions. But they added this idea that sometimes cities will annex properties to unilateral annexation that cross into different counties, which is another interesting point. I know that in Sedgwick County we have the city of Sedgwick and the city of Mulvane cross into different counties, but there's like about 8 or 10 different cities right now that are on the verge of annexing property across the county line, and that brings in a whole lot of new problems. So the state laws are not really good on that, and they wanted to address that, which I think is really smart. One of the things they talked about was I think it was probably the most interesting was they want to have an opt-in versus an opt-out policy for RHID, or reinvestment housing incentive districts. I think that's really smart. So the position of the county would be we would like to opt in rather than have a default that we're in unless we take action to opt out. It's a much better policy, and I think that's something I would strongly support. I think that that was a good change. With overall, though, the conference is going quite well. There's a lot of people over there, and by the way, one of the meetings that will actually the different elements of KAC will break up and have independent meetings. One of those is the KCCA, which is the Kansas County Commissioners Association, which I strongly support, by the way. No offense to NACO, but I think when you get into the National Association of Counties, they're not necessarily understanding Kansas priorities, Kansas problems, and Kansas proposed solutions. They're talking about nationally. Counties across this country come together at the NACO conference, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's really hard to pull from that and talk about things that are really relevant to Sedgwick County. The KAC, I think, does a really good job keeping it relevant, and I think the KCCA even does a better job. KCCA and the KAC each have their own lobbyists, by the way. And so one thing I do like about this is the KAC doesn't seem to have anything, and I don't think the KCCA does either, that goes against our Sedgwick County platform. In the years past, we were members of the KAC, and by extension, we're members of KCCA, and they had platform issues that were a direct conflict with Sedgwick County platform. So we were able to work those issues out, and I don't think that's the case any longer. So I really appreciate that. Anyway, the lobbyists were both there. Mike Taylor and Jay Hall were both there. So I spent time talking to both of them. A number of other commissioners from other counties there really had some great discussions. And just think it's a great opportunity to engage other counties and host them here in Sedgwick County. It's been a great conference. Thank you to my colleagues for allowing me to be the delegate. I really do appreciate that. And overall, I think we have good momentum going forward. So appreciate that, Chairman. With that, I'd like to just change the topic to one other issue very briefly. That is, I wanted to circle back and give an answer to what Andrew was talking about. If I could find my notes here. Basically, what it is again, no offense to him, he's doing his very best, but what actually this is a lawsuit that was enjoined by Chris Kobach. It was initiated by a attorney general in Texas. In this regard, is regarding Section 504 of disability discrimination protections, whether or not gender identity, or some people might use the word gender dysphoria, is considered a disability that should be protected under Section 504 or not. That's the debate. And Chris Kobach has joined Texas, and this is very hot debate. And Chris Kobach, his position currently is he wants to lessen the lawsuit so it's only focused on that one issue rather than something broader than that for Section 504. So that's what's going on. It's really not a legislative bill. It's nothing to do with the legislature, and absolutely nothing to do with county commission. So let me just say there is nothing we can do as a county commission to influence that entire discussion. It's a discussion that's happening at the Attorney General's level of different states. It's a federal issue. It's not a state's issue, certainly not a county issue. So I appreciate his passionate plea for intervention and participation in moving something forward, but at the end of the day, it's really not our issue to deal with. So that, I just wanted to give you that report.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that, Commissioner. Okay, anything else under other? Commissioner Meinster.
Yeah, fellow commissioners and others, I attended yesterday the city council meeting. It was very lengthy. Obviously, it was related a lot of emotion and a lot of stuff on the sales tax. But one of the items that really I was attending was about the expansion of a project in the Star Bond district that the city's sponsoring out at Greenwich 96. That whole corridor there. And I think it's just worth noting for us all as we look incentives and investment, whatever. But Commissioner Blubaugh was with me. But just to let you know, a Star Bond is they capture the sales tax in that project, and it can be used for infrastructure. It's just that simple. And currently, the land that's in that Star Bond that's going to be developed, there's $700 a year in property tax for these, I think, 25 acres. So we will get the property tax revenue right off the bat when this project goes. We will forfeit the sales tax for up to, under the Star Bond rules, up to 20 years. But the good news is, and then the sales tax goes back to the state and distributes like we're all used to. But to let you know the success of this project along with the racetrack up in Kansas City, or the poster childs for Kansas Department of Commerce on how a successful one can be designed and implemented, and it's minimal, and it's just a great success. In 2013, when Jeff and I were at the city, we did the first one. It was $36 million, and that was to build the sports forum and that shopping center and finish the interchange there at 96 and Greenwich. $36 million. It was paid off in 6 years. We amended it across the street for Stryker to develop that Stryker complex, and along with Top Golf, and of course then that developed into Shields sponsoring. That was redone for $71 million in 2017, 4 years later. That one is paid off today within 8 years. Recall, we could have 20 years, but it's paid off. So this one is going to be an entertainment option along with partnership with Wichita State University for a high-level, a national level tennis complex for NCAA type stuff. And so it's just an example that I know Brent's not here, but he does a really good job. Brent in finance does a great job whenever we get opportunity or challenge or request to help sponsor or participate in an economic development endeavor. When you put the right guardrails and when it's a good deal and it makes a lot of sense, it's incredibly successful. So I just wanted to share that with you all. And I want to congratulate the city approved the going forward on that project. So that will be being implemented pretty much ASAP, but it's vacant land now and it'll be developed. It's behind the Cozine area where that little cemetery's at. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with us all so get a grasp.
Thank you, Commissioner Meister, for that. I have not been following that closely, so I appreciate the update. But just a clarification for myself, is there property tax abatements built into this? I think the STAR bonds, unless I'm misunderstanding, the STAR bonds reallocates the state's portion of the sales tax to pay off infrastructure bonds for the project area.
Correct.
And so the property taxes, as far as I know, they flow in, and the sales tax, we're talking about sales taxes above the base. So the growth in sales tax for the state would be redirected to pay off infrastructure bonds for the district. But the property taxes, unless there's something other tool in place, we'll receive property tax increases the minute this is built. So
that's why it was really funny to learn that $700 is the existing. That's a pretty nice piece of land right there along 96 there. And so we will benefit, and as Bob Layton says, the benefit of the property tax revenue dwarfs the sales tax portion that will eventually come. They estimate this one will be under the current, because you get to use the whole area to support this growth. So they estimate 7 to 8 years that'll be paid off.
In addition to that, the local sales tax, if there's, again, Wichita was to pass theirs, or we already have our countywide 1%, those sales taxes are still collected. That's not part of the STAR bond. We're talking about redirecting the state's portion only.
I don't know for sure, but I think that's correct.
I believe that's correct, but we can correct that later.
You're right on the property tax versus sales tax.
All right. Hey, thank you for the update.
Good stuff. Appreciate that, Commissioner. One question, point of clarity. I'm from the other side of the river. Is it Greenwich or Greenwich?
I can't remember. It's the Arkansas River.
That's good. That's good. Okay. Anything else under other? Okay. Okay, Madam Clerk. Next item.
Executive session.
And we have no executive session today. So started an hour late today at 10 a.m. I thank, again, everybody for adjusting their schedules so we can be at KAC. We'll be heading back over there, some of us again this afternoon. Anything else need to come before the commission? Okay, time is 12:09. We are officially adjourned. Have a great day.